G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. This week Michelle and I are tackling water maker issues. As you can see from this photo of the water testing meter, our total dissolved solids, or TDS, are way too high. An acceptable level for TDS in drinking water is below 500 parts per million, but really need to be under 250 parts per million. And as you can see here, we're 3 times that. The Rainman water maker system is relatively new. After contacting the company and giving them the serial numbers on the pressure pump and the pressure housing for the membrane, we found out that the system was purchased and installed in the British Virgin Islands in March of 2022. While the system is not old, we have never been able to make drinkable water and have had to rely on either buying water or catching and filtering rainwater. Now, disclaimer up front. Most of this was filmed while we were still in the Caribbean, and most of the video is shot vertically, not horizontally, so please forgive the black edges. Also, I was in constant contact with Rainman Australia via email for probably 6 weeks as I troubleshot the system. Their manager of production was excellent and extremely helpful. I have nothing but good things to say. As of today, however, we still don't have a functional system, and as you'll see, I believe we finally found the reason why. System diverted to tank. Water quality stays red. While under pressure, system diverted back, or turned back to divert. Water flows from galley foot pump faucet. Light is now yellow. While light is yellow, turn back to tank, light immediately goes red. The very first thing I was instructed to do was to check for air in the system. So from the seawater intake to the pre-filter was checked for air leaks. A water maker takes in salt water and through a process called reverse osmosis removes the dissolved solids from it and turns it into drinkable fresh water. If air is able to enter the system, then the pressure pump cavitates, or has a vacuum created by the air bubbles, so the pump cannot reach pressure and the system does not work as it should. As you see here, we had air in the system, so as a test, we bypassed the current configuration and went straight from the intake to the pre-filter. The result was a far better pressure at the pre-filter, and a drop in total TDS. Started the system, the light is, after a couple of minutes, green, but I can see air coming out in the gauge, so I'm just going to let it run and see if that stops. Been running the system 5 minutes, haven't put any pressure to it. Light has turned yellow. Air bubbles have slowed down. Been running about 20 minutes. Up around 650, 700 psi. Minute I hit 600 psi, water quality went red, making just over 9 gallons an hour, no air bubbles in the gauge. Although the gauge, when I first started putting pressure to it, had enormous air bubbles in it for about a minute. After sharing those videos with Rainman, I was instructed to perform a pressure test. This meant turning the system on and putting both discharge and tank hoses in a bucket and measuring the amount of water made in a certain period. After pulling the system apart so I could attach new hoses and perform the test, The result was we had lost less than 5% against a brand new system and were well within the acceptable range. So we went back to the drawing board. System has been running for 1 hour. Light is still red, making just below 10 gallons per hour. No bubbles in the vial. Pressure is at 700. Good pressure on the pre-filter. System running for 2 hours, still under pressure. Changed to divert. Light went yellow. Oh, just went back red. When I get that beep, watch the light. Light goes from red to yellow, then back to red. Next, it was suggested that we check the entire pressure system from pump through the pressure chamber for the membrane. And all of that looked good. I'd been asking if I should buy a new filter membrane, and Rain Man kept telling me they didn't believe I needed to. However, after much back and forth, I bit the proverbial bullet and purchased one. The old membrane should have been fine, but I was concerned it had been compromised because the system had been sitting idle for a year, and the storage solution you put in the system does have the ability to damage the membrane. Went ahead and changed the membrane. You can see that the pressure is almost perfect. Good pressure at the pump. Water quality is now yellow instead of red, which is great, making 8 gallons an hour. But if I turn the pressure up slightly to get it where it should be, that'll go up to 9. So we're in better shape than we were, but we're still not green. System's been on for 2 minutes and is now bouncing between amber and red. Just finished a 30-minute test at 677 parts per million with an amber light. Need to have water for having a shower, so I am going to turn it to tank. Figure that one. Green. Well guys, that is where we'll leave this episode. The light stayed green for 2 minutes before turning back red, then back to yellow, where it stayed. Total dissolved solids stayed between 630 and 660. After several more days, I believe I finally found the issue. I will say, Rain Man does not agree with this conclusion, but it is truly the only viable solution I can find. To this day, we still do not have a working water maker. However, in the marina, we do not need it. So I guess I'll fix it when we make moves to return to the Caribbean. Thanks for watching, and leave a comment below if you think this could be the issue. So this is the end cap, the upstream end cap that I believe is the issue. It has no resistance when I pull it off, so I don't think that O-ring in there is actually sealing like it should, and I can see down the bottom it looks as if someone has taken a drill to make the hole wider, because that's where it's been scratched on the bottom. And when I put it back on, like that, I don't know if you can see, but there's a slight wiggle. It's not tight. And so I believe what's happening is because it's not sealing tight on the shaft of the membrane, we're getting bypassed.